Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a 72-hour challenge explanation video. This video is intended to help those of you that still don't quite understand how the 72-hour challenge event works. Now, if you know everything there is to know about the 72-hour challenge, this video may still be helpful because there are a few changes compared to previous events, and at the end of the video, I'm going to be talking about the monsters I think are worth going for, so you can just skip over to that portion of the video. Anyways, with that being said, let's jump right into it. As of the time I'm recording, there are 2 days left, 16 hours, 7 minutes, and the seconds are counting by. So first things first, the 72-hour challenge event is a 3-day event where you basically pay coins in order to flip over cards, and once a card is flipped, rewards are revealed. You can get coins, you can get food, gems, items, you can get monster cells, or you can get an actual monster. So I'm gonna scroll down to see more information about this event. So you will enter the event with 315 coins. The main objective of this event is collecting challenge coins as much as possible. You have 4 free ways to collect them: collecting gold from habitats, harvesting food from farms, breeding monsters in Breeding Mountain or Ultra Breeding Tree, defeat opponents in player versus player arena. And I hope everyone paid attention to that. There are only 4 ways to get free coins. Only 4 ways. I am emphasizing this because I always get people asking me, Armor, how can I get more coins? How can I get more coins? There is no other way except for these 4 ways. There's no shortcuts, there's no logging in on time, there's no spawn rates. It's all about performing the previous 4 activities that I mentioned. Those are the only ways to get coins. So please do pay attention to that. There are no other ways to get free coins. Of course, you could also buy coins from the event shop. The ratio is 1.3 to 2 coins per gem. So if you want to spend some gems on coins, you can totally do that. I, however, don't recommend it. I think you can at least get 1 monster just by playing. Now, unlike other events, this event does depend what level you're on. If you're familiar with the maze or the progressive island, whether you're level 20 or level 90, it doesn't matter. Everyone progresses basically at the same rate because getting items is dependent on spawn times. But in the 72-hour challenge event, depending what level you're at, that influences how many challenge coins you can get per activity. So I'll talk a little more about that later. There are 4 puzzles during the 72-hour challenge. Some missions will open next to each other while some missions will open at the same time. You have many options to choose and focus on the mission you want to minimize coins usage. And unlike previous 72-hour challenge events where we've only had 3 monsters to choose from, we actually have 4 monsters to choose from. We have X-Pug, Virus, Cthulhu, and Wildcat. So 2 legendaries and 2 epics. And here we go, cards. Every time you open a card, it requires challenge coins. The more cards open, the more coins required to open the next card. Depending on the puzzle, you will have a certain chance to get the monster. The chance will increase every time you open a card. So I'll talk a little more about that after I talk about the coins earning exchange rate. This chart right here is the most important thing to this event. This is all you need to know in order to do the event. Once again, there are only 4 free ways to get coins: collecting gold, harvesting food, winning player versus player matches, and breeding monsters. And this chart right here depicts how many coins you'll get depending what activity you do. So for example, let's say you're level 35. That means you would fall into this category. I know the chart may seem excessive and overwhelming, but you only have to focus in whatever row you're in. If you're level 35, you look at the highlighted row. If you're level 55, you would look here. Depending what level you are, that is the only row you have to worry about. So going back to my example, let's say you're level 35, you look at this row right here, level 30 to 39, and this means that every time you collect 2,577 gold, you're gonna get 1 challenge coin. Every time you harvest 40 food, you're gonna get 1 challenge coin. Every time you win 1 player versus player battle, you're gonna get 115.33 challenge coins. And as for breeding points, that has to be explained by itself. So anyways, the cool thing about this event compared to the progressive islands or the mazes is that there is no spawn time. You don't have to log in every 4 hours, every 8 hours like in those events. Right here, you can be in the game as much as you want, and all you have to do is just collect all your gold, just keep harvesting food. That's all you have to do. The main problem, however, with this event is that it depends on your level. So if you're a low level player, you have more opportunity to get more monsters. So good for you. If you're a veteran, if you've been playing this game for a long time, it really sucks because for you, completing even 1 monster, that is going to be really difficult. So for example, if you were level 15, every time you collect 95 gold, you get 1 coin. But if you're level 85, you need to collect 45,000 just to get 1 coin. And you may be thinking, well, of course, Armor, that makes sense. When you're low level, you don't have a lot of monsters. When you're high level, you have a lot of legendary monsters and you get more gold. And to an extent, that is true, but no, it is like disproportionately unfair. Now, if you're a low level player and you're doing panic and gold farming, you can easily make it to round 2. But just so you know, this is why people say it's unfair to people that have been playing the game for a long time. And in fact, it appears that Social Point has made it even more difficult for people that have been playing a long time and are over level 90. So right here, you know how it says level 90 to 90? I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be 90 and above. You need to collect 91,940 14 just to get 1 coin. In previous events that wasn't the case. In previous events you only needed to collect the same amount of gold as if you were level 80 to 89. So Social Point finally went ahead and doubled that. So in the past, if basically you were level 70 and above, you needed to save about 1 billion gold in order to be able to get that third monster. But now if you're level 90 and above, you're gonna need double that. You're gonna need like 2 billion gold. And I say that because once again this event is based on quantity. The more gold you collect, the more coins you get. The more food you harvest, the more coins you get. The more battles you win, the more coins you get. The more breeding, the more coins you get. You get the idea, right? Of all of these 4 tasks, there's only one thing we can manipulate, and that's harvesting food. You're in charge of how much food you can harvest. So the more gold you have saved, the more food you can plant, which means the more coins you can get. You can't manipulate how many PvP battles you have unless you spend gems. You can't collect any more gold than your monsters produce, and you can't breed infinitely number monsters because then your hatchery gets filled up and you're stuck there. So planting and harvesting food is the only thing you can manipulate. And even though I said this so many times in the beginning, I'm going to repeat it one more time because I get so many questions about this. There are no shortcuts, there are no cheat codes. The more gold you have, the more food you can plant, and that's how you get more coins. Other than that, there are no other ways. If you don't have a lot of gold, then I'm sorry, there's nothing much you can do, honestly. And during this event is when you should activate your food guardian temple. Hopefully you already have it leveled up, hopefully all the way. That way every time you plant food it's all doubled. If you don't have it leveled up, be smart about how you use it. I always give this example. If you only have 30 million gold and it costs like 26 million to activate, then please don't activate your temple because then you're only going to have 4 million to plant food with. And even though you're getting boosted crops, if you would have used that 30 million and invested it into food, that would have produced way more coins than just doing 4 million boosted. So be smart about how you use your temple if you're going to use it. And another question I always get is which plant should you farm? And the answer to that is it doesn't really matter. Once again, this is based on quantity. If you produce something that produces a little food, then you're not going to be getting as many coins. If you plant something that produces a lot of food, then you're going to be getting more coins. However, you're going to be spending more money. But once again, it doesn't really matter. The key here is just to get as much food as possible. So my suggestion is plant whatever crop gives you the most food. That's it. It's really that simple. Anyways, let's talk about breeding points really quickly. Breeding points is equal to minute times 25 plus the type bonus. And down here it tells you the different type bonuses. So let's take Pandakin for example. Pandakin takes 30 seconds to breed. I'm assuming the game counts it for 1 minute. So you would do 1 minute times 25 plus 500 because Pandakin is a rare. And you get 525. Then you look at the chart and it doesn't really matter because everyone is the same. You do 525 divided by 100, you would get 5 coins. Every time you breed Pandakin, you should get 5 coins, at least if the information on Wiki is correct. And a fun little fact, breeding Pandakin 3 times every hour gives you more breeding points than breeding other monsters. So breeding Pandakin is actually the best monster you can breed. Now if you have a lot of spare time, you could actually just breed Pandakins non-stop and you'd get infinitely many coins. Of course it is a very slow process, but that is something you can do. If you really want a monster and you had nothing better to do, you could honestly just breed a bunch of Pandakins. Now here's one really important point I want to emphasize. Your card rewards are randomly generated in server side. It won't be changed. When you claim the current card, the next reward will be generated also randomly. The monster card will only be generated when the chance is above 0%. The reason I'm emphasizing this is because a lot of people like to think they can do a slow motion app and see where the monster is. A lot of people really try to convince others that they got the monster on their first try or second try, but that's physically impossible. According to this information, you just can't do it. The card won't even show up on the first or second try. Most of the time it doesn't show up until like the 14th or 16th card. So don't believe anyone that say they got it on the first or second try. Don't believe that you can get a slow motion app and see where the card is. It doesn't work that way. It's really all just a gimmick. It's all an animation, which is actually the next line. Card shuffling is just an animation. It does not include the correct position of the rewards. So you really can't follow along. That's all for fun. So anyways, we have Xpug, Virus, Cthulhu, and Wildcat. Down here is the mission summary, which is a really nice chart telling you how much everything costs, all the different rewards you can get. So taking a look at mission for Wildcat, if you were to flip over every single card, you would get 17 gems, 141k gold, 59k food, and if you were to get extremely lucky, you would get Wildcat on the 16th card, and you only have a 14% chance to actually get him, and that would end up costing you 16,360 challenge coins. Now if you're extremely unlucky and it takes you until the very final card to get Wildcat, it's going to cost you 23,715 coins. And here you can see the information for each individual monster. The whole event, if you were to be extremely lucky, would only take you 45,525 challenge coins. Now if you were extremely unlucky and you managed to complete the whole event, it would cost you 73,130 coins. Also, if you want to go to round 2, you have to complete the whole event. You can't just get all the monsters and go to round 2. You have to flip over every single card. You can also click on the blue names and it'll give you information about that monster specifically. So I click on Wildcat, I scroll down, and these are all the different rewards you can get. Here we have Wildcat, 5 gems, 20k food, 6k food, 40 cells for Annihilator R2. So that's another cool thing about the 72-hour challenge event. Even though there's only 4 monsters, there's actually technically like a 5th hidden monster. If you flip cards over from X-Bug, Fire Rust, Cthulhu, and Wildcat, you can get enough cells to make Annihilator R2, which is a metal legendary monster. Anyway, scrolling back down, the very first card you flip over is going to cost you 200 coins, meaning you would have spent a total of 200 coins, and if you want to complete the whole entire puzzle, it'll cost you 2,305 gems, and you have no chance to get Wildcat. That's why it says 0, and if you notice, it says 0 for a really long time up until here, which is the 16th card. On the 16th card, that card is going to cost you 2,810 challenge coins in order to flip it over, meaning you would have spent a total of 16,360 challenge coins. And if you're just tired of flipping cards and you want to pay gems, it's going to cost you 295 gems. And once again, you only have a 14% chance to actually get Wildcat. One thing you notice is that even when you're on the last 2 cards, it's not even a fair 50-50 split. It's a 25% chance to get Wildcat, a 75% chance you're not going to get him. So that's what makes this extremely difficult. So that's basically all there is to know about how the 72-hour challenge event works. Now I'm going to talk to you guys about what monsters I think are worth getting. And I'm going to start off by saying this is probably one of the poorest 72-hour challenge events we've ever gotten. None of the monsters in this event are really that amazing. In my opinion, of the 4 monsters actually available, the one that stands out the most would actually be Cthulhu. If you notice, he actually almost costs as much as Wildcat. The reason that is because he actually comes ranked up. He'll be ranked 1 if you manage to get him. And I think that's pretty cool because I think Social Point is looking for interesting ways to give us ranked up monsters. So here's your chance to get a ranked up epic, which will really help you out in Team Wars. And for those of you that don't know, Cthulhu is also used to breed Nabotus, one of the breedable legendary monsters. Now Nabotus isn't that great, but if you want to collect all the breedable monsters, this is one of your only chances to do so because normally you could only get Cthulhu by paying gems for him. So just go ahead and get him in the 72-hour challenge event. But with that being said, Wildcat is one of the newest monsters and based on a YouTuber, so I imagine a lot of you are going to want him. So if you do want him, then go ahead and get him. Even though I personally think Cthulhu would probably be better to get than Wildcat, I myself will be going for Wildcat. And for those of you wondering, Fire Rust, he's not really that good of a nature monster. And then we have X-Pug, which is basically iPug just reskinned for Christmas theme. If you want to complete your Christmas collection, go ahead and get X-Pug and Fire Rust. But those first 2 monsters, X-Pug and Fire Rust, there's really nothing too interesting about them. Now for those of you that don't care about getting a YouTuber monster, anything like that, and you just want the best monster, in that case my opinion would be to go for Annihilator R2. Go for all his monster cells. Because in this 72-hour challenge event, Annihilator R2 might be the best monster available. The only problem is that you might not get so lucky and he might be the most expensive monster. It honestly really depends on how lucky you are. But without a doubt, he's probably the best. So with all that being said, that is going to conclude my explanation video on the 72-hour challenge event featuring Wildcat. And now I want to hear from all of you. What do you guys think about this event? I know the monsters aren't the most amazing, but is there anyone you really want? Or do you guys think that ranked up Cthulhu is pretty cool? Or do you just want to complete your YouTuber collection and get Wildcat? How many of you are going to be going for Annihilator R2 instead of any of these 4 monsters? And what do you guys think about Social Point increasing the amount of gold a level 90 plus player needs to get in order to get 1 coin? Whatever's going on through your head, let me know in the comments below. Good luck to everyone on this 72-hour challenge. I hope everyone can get whoever they want. Hope everyone has a great amazing day or a great amazing night. Remember to dream big and pursue your passions.